Hi, and welcome to Get a Clue, Casual Gamer, where we get a clue, CLUE, about a game, or as we've been doing, a list of games. My top 100. And today we finally have gotten to the top 20. Today we're going to be looking at 20 down to 11. And then the next episode we will be doing my top 10. But to get to my top 20, I mean, we are in like the top 10% of the ones that I actually used PubMeeple to do a list on. I ended up with 252 games listed in that and so being in the top 20 means there are more than 90% of my game no sorry more than 80% of my games are higher on the list than this. We are really getting down to the nitty gritty. So let's get started with number 20. Number 20 is an older game. I've had it for a few years, and I got it, I'd say, at least 20 years ago. I got it because it reminded me of Clue, and anyone who has watched any of my episodes, you know that I do have a soft spot in my heart for the game Clue, because that's what I fell in love with gaming at age 9, was with that game. So I got this game because it kind of gave me a feel of Clue. Oh, sorry, my dog has seen somebody outside the window, apparently. Hold on a sec. Quiet. All done. Uh-uh. Good girl. Uh-uh. Good girl. So anyway, oh, she's going to knock this table. I'm sure she is. She's trying to get to me, but there's so many boxes of games around me. Good girl. Be quiet, okay? Yeah, you can go downstairs. It's okay. Anyway, so the game that is my number 20 is Mystery of the Abbey. Rumor has it that it's a company is redoing it to re-release. This is the Days of Wonder version. It has this cloister here and a monastery and all the different rooms in it in the chapel. And then you have all of these monks and abbots and let's see, fathers, brothers, and novices. And you're trying to figure out who is the killer. And you go to the different rooms to find out information about the different monks. And yeah, it's a 3 to 6 player game. It definitely takes an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours to play, especially if you're just learning it. But it's a beautiful game, first of all. And it's just something close enough, or at least in appearance, it's close enough to Clue that it, kind of gives me that vibe. Just like Awkward Guests gives me that kind of vibe. Mysterium and what's the one that I just fell in love with? Because I love Rear Window. Yeah, because I love the movie. Anyway, so Mystery of the Abbey is my number 20, and I hope that they really do get the re-release, another release of it. It's a different company. It'll look different. The pictures I've seen of the cover look very different, but the gameplay is very simple, and it's deduction, and that's one of the mechanisms that I kind of like. One of those things that I kind of like. So, Mystery of the Abbey, my number 20. Okay, where am I going to put these? Okay. Reach out there. My number 19 is a roll and write, or really it's a flip and write, and I play it a lot solo, a lot on the actual game itself, and a lot on my phone. I have the app and I play it a lot on my phone. except it is kind of small print on a phone, you know, so sometimes I just don't feel like trying to figure out, is that green or yellow underneath that building, or but anyway, it's Explorers. Explorers is a Phil Walker Harding, so I love Phil Walker Harding. Explorers is just enough to be very easy to play. You don't have a lot of directions you have to remember, but it's also a marker wipe off type thing. This will change. There are, I believe, 16 different squares, and they can be mixed and matched in any configuration, in any direction in this spot. Every time you play, you'll have 4, and everyone will use the same 4. So there's several choices. Maybe there's only 12. That might only be 12 different little square thingies. And then these can be turned around for a little bit more difficult goals there. But it's so easy. This is what you flip. They're little chipboard things. And it's pretty, it's simple. You're just trying to find the key, and so you can unlock a temple or get one of each of, you know, some of the food, the carrots, the let's see, fish, and the tomatoes. Or how many gems can you click on? It's like how about surrounding a village to make sure that all 4 sides are covered? All of those things give you points. So every game can be different. I have different goals depending on where the temples are, keys and temples are to each other, to if that's what I really focus on, or what is it? Are the towns close enough that I can surround them with little X's so they're each worth 10 points? There's so many different little things you can do. Do you want to try and go for the triple food in each round? You know, it's like I believe there's 4 rounds to the game, and it's just a nice, comfortable, flip and right game that is just my number 19. I mean, obviously I like it that much. It's my number 19, Explorers, flip and right. Okay, my number 18. Let's see. Yeah, my number 18 is another in that genre, but this one is a roll and write. Definitely Biblios Quill and Parchment, like quill for pen, parchment paper, roll and write. Ha ha ha. Play on words. I often play this solo. Almost all of my games of Biblios Quill and Parchment have been solos, but it does play up to 4, and you have all the cards for up to 4 players. And I have played it with 4, but it's almost all, most of the time I played solo, and it's easily adaptable for solo. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so you each have this board, and then this is a general board for the whole table. And you are trying to go up these tracks or get high scores in these tracks, or get your monk visiting all his pilgrimage churches to get points that way, or be the one closest to the altar on this track. So it's like there's so many different ways of getting points and really honing in on, from the roll of the dice. Yes, it's chance, but because there's so many different things you can choose to do with your roll, it kind of makes you feel like you really need to you don't, okay, opposite of that. You really don't need to worry or stress too much about the dice. I just realized now that I did not turn the light on in here, so there's kind of like a darkness to my face, and I'm not reaching over there because I have to like reach over to get the light on over there. So next video I'll turn it back and make sure I turn it on. But anyway, my number 18, 20, 2019, 18. Yeah, I didn't write these down and I should have. My number 18 is Biblios Quill and Parchment. Great light game, great solo game. Number 17. Little box, small box, cool game. This is my number 17 is Village Green. I did not own this last year. I had played it, but I did not own it. I did forget to tell you where these others were last year, so I'll just wait until the end and tell you which each one of them was last year. But this one was not on my list last year because I did not own it. Last year, I did my list from games that I owned. This year, I made my list from games that I've played. And I didn't allow the ones that I have not played to be part of this top 100. Whereas last year, it was only games that I owned. And even if I hadn't played them, I was counting my anticipation of playing them as their placement. But Village Green, I really like it. It's a little puzzly. This is actually, I got this from my friend Emma. She didn't like it. She gets frustrated trying to play it, trying to get the perfect selections, and it is chancy. You're flipping cards and you're looking at the cards that are available, and it's like none of these is going to work. So what one am I going to take and where am I going to put it, because it's just going to negate what I really want for that row or that column or both. But yeah, it's basically you are trying to create a perfect village green. Get the maximum points for having the best village green. You are in England, in a little town, maybe Midsummer County. Watch out for those murders. But anyway, you will have gold cards that you choose at the top of each column and at the side of each row, or maybe on this side for y'all. And then the grid of cards in between those columns and rows, you're trying to place something there that will get you points depending on what's at the top of that column and what's at the side of that row. And so placement is very important. And but the cards are beautiful. We got really pretty cards, and the game really is not that complicated, not that long. What did they say it is? 30 minutes. Yeah. And it also has a solo mode to it. There's something to this, except for Mystery of the Abbey, which you have to have at least 3 people. All the others have a solo mode to them. That's a big plus in my household. So Village Green is my number 17. Cute card game, just hand management, card, placement of the cards, perfect. My number 16 is a modern classic. And it is Splendor. Splendor is, I love the components. Everyone who plays it loves those what you call it, the casino type chips, those plastic good heavy chips that you get to really hold on to, very tactile. You're choosing, it's a simple game. You either are, when it's your turn, you choose to take chips, two of the same color, or 1, 2, 3 of 3 different colors, one of each. And at some point, when you have the right combination, you use those chips to buy a card whose cost is those colors. And then that card becomes a, it's a deck building type of game. That card then becomes a solid gem that you will always stay with you. You pick up the gems until you have enough to buy these cards that are gems, and you use these and these to get some of these that have points on them, 4, 2, 3, and or if you have the right amount of cards, you can get the influence of one of these kings and queens, this nobility here, and they're always worth 3 points. The first person to get to 15 points wins. So it's kind of a race game. But again, I have played it almost exclusively as a solo, because on Board Game Geek website, BGG, there is a fan solo mode that you can print and play with. And that's how I so often play this, because again, I need some solo games. And this is so easy to get to the table and play it. I don't have to look at instructions. I mean, it's just a modern classic. It's a great entry-level game. If you're looking for something that's has stood the test of time when it comes to stability in, yes, people like this game. And it's not overly complicated, yet it teaches you some elements, some mechanisms that are used in many games. Specifically here, very much so, the deck building. The place, getting and acquiring the right gem cards so that you can exponentially use them to acquire more cards that are worth points. So anyway, my number 16 is Splendor. I like it so much that I actually came across and took advantage of getting a play mat for it. Love this play mat. It's a beautiful neoprene, very good quality. Don't ask me how I got it. I think I got it through somebody on Etsy or maybe online. I think it might have even been an ad on Facebook. I don't remember, but it was a good price, good deal, and it's turned out to be excellent quality. It's hemmed all the way around, so I love this to play Splendor with the Splendor mat. My number 15 is the one that I couldn't remember the name of earlier because it's Deduction, and I love this movie. If you remember just from now 10-15 minutes ago, Rear Window. Rear Window, if you've never watched the Alfred Hitchcock movie Rear Window, oh my goodness, you really, really need to watch it. It is light suspense, little romance for us, who like romance, and some romance. It was from, I think, 1954. So the Grace Kelly fashions that she wears are incredible, but the mystery behind what James Stewart sees from his window and thinks has happened, or thinks what's happening. It's a great little suspenseful movie. But so that in itself caught my attention the moment I heard that this game was going to be a real game. And it turns out that for me, it takes the place of Mysterium. I like Mysterium. I like those weird pictures that the ghost is showing the players, but I, I think I think Rear Window is probably a little easier maybe than Mysterium, and the theme is much more family friendly for a lot more families who might not want to do ghosts and mediums and stuff like that, or um, or even murder. Because here's the thing with Rear Window, you are trying to figure out who lives in each of the four apartments and some information about that person or couple. And occasionally there might be a murder in the mix. If you don't want to play, especially if you're playing with kids and you don't want to play about murder, just don't put in the little murder thing as a possible option. Just put in the other things. This is what the murder card, the little chip looks like. And then this is what some of the others look like. For instance, the art connoisseur, the virtuoso, the writer, the athlete. Yeah, so it's these are different aspects of it, and then who's the actual person or people who live in the apartment. So it's very similar. You're trying to figure out. Deduce is cooperative. Mysterium is cooperative. Rear Window is cooperative unless there's that murder little chipboard thingy. If that is in play, and I mean it's put into the mix, and it somehow gets picked, one of because you're going to put in 13 chips, I believe, and 4 of them are going to be taken out in random. If murder comes out, then okay, it's not completely cooperative anymore, but the director is not going to tell everyone else. Everyone else has to figure out that there is a murder, or that there is no murder and everything is cooperative, and the director is really giving them point on clues, is the best clues they can. Yeah, I've done a video on it. Go check it out. It is my number 15. Love me some Rear Window. And yes, you definitely need at least 3 people to play it. You need a director and a couple observers. It says, I think it says 3 to 5. You could play with more than 5, but the more people you have, the more discussion, and the more they might talk themselves out of the right answers. Just keep that in mind. But it can be played with more than 5. Okay, number 14. Don't have it. Don't own it. Probably will never own it because there's no way I can afford this game. And when would I be able to play it? It's called Blood on the Clocktower. Technically, it came out this past year. It was a Kickstarter. It was supposed to come out several years ago. Pandemic, it slowed it down. There were a lot of people who were using a prototype version of it, and I've played it with the prototype and I've played it with the actual game. But Blood on the Clocktower is a social deduction game. It's one of those that will have some sort of demon, an imp, a puka, a fangu, whatever. And then you have innocent villagers. Some of them might have abilities of getting information. You'll have minions who are on the side of the demon, and sometimes you might have outsiders which aren't quite villagers, but they're not necessarily on the bad team, but they might read as a bad person. Yeah. I've played it with usually about 12 people, 12, 14, and it will take 2 hours is short. The last one I played was 2 3/4 hours. use, well, it would probably be shorter if we did not have to teach someone something. But if there is a new person in the game, then it's going to take a little while to kind of get them into the loop. But love me some Blood on the Clock Tower. Wish I could afford it. There's no way. So I am not going to own it. It's like, I just know I'm not. It's on my wish list, but it's kind of like, yeah, fantasy world there. Because the cheapest I've seen it was $168. And so it's like, yeah, that's not happening. But if you ever have a chance to play it, really take the opportunity and have fun, especially if you like to do RPGs, role-playing games. If you like the little fantasy type thing, it's like, this is an opportunity. If you like to act, or you take drama in school or whatever, you like stuff like that. If you're going to play a social deduction game, this is the social deduction game that I highly recommend. I believe it's the highest one on my list. Oh, definitely it is. Of all social deduction games, this is the highest for me because I get the most satisfaction out of it. So that is my number 14, Blood on the Clock Tower. My number 13 is a great party game. The base game plays 3 to 7 players, and it comes with supplies for 7 players. I actually have 2, and I have combined them, so I have enough for 14 players, and which is why I have this on here to keep it from popping open. It is just one. I love this game. It is a cooperative game. Person who is it picks out a card and without looking places it on their little standee, and there'll be 5 words there numbered 1 through 5, and the person who's it says, whichever number they want. I'll say 4, and whatever the word is for number 4, that's the word that everyone is trying to get the person who's it to guess. But the title, Just One, it's just one word that they have to guess. And everybody can only write on their little erasable standee 1 word as a clue. But if anybody has a duplicate of somebody else's, both of them are thrown out. And you can only have each word 1 time, and if you have it 2 or more times, all of them, not just all but one, but all of them get taken out of the game. Excuse me, I did bring water. Okay. I love this game, and like I say, I have enough for 14 people to play because it is a great party game. And you could play it with paper. Excuse me. Getting close to the end, hopefully. My number 13, Just One, great party game. Won Spiel des Jahres in 2019, so it is an award-winning game. My number 12. Okay. Small game. I am not a fan of the weird art Alice in Wonderland stuff, but so I had to get past this, as far as I'm concerned, ugly Cheshire Cat picture. But the theme is Alice in Wonderland, and the drawings on the cards, the artwork on the cards are not to my liking either. They're just, as far as I'm concerned, they're ugly. But I love playing this game. You're trying to end up with the lowest score, strategically placing cards from your hand into a long line of numbers, And depending on the color and the number that you place down to how many cards you have to take off of that line and place in your hand in your your area is not your hand, but in your area, or maybe they do go to your hand. No, I don't think so. No. Anyway, it's been a while since I played it. And that's basically it. You're picking a card, placing it, and depending on what the color and number is to how many cards you might have to take. Maybe it's 0, maybe it's 10. Be careful. So simple card game, great little package. Parade, my number 12. Simple. That was a quick one, wasn't that? Then my number 11, and it really needs to be because we're now past 30 minutes. Floriferous is my number 11. Just missed out on the top 10. Floriferous, beautiful game, beautiful cards, beautiful flowers. It's very floriferous. And you're basically, there are some cards that will give you goals that will be worth money. I mean, not money, points at the end of the game. And then you pick out the cards, the flowers, the flower arrangements, these other different things to ramp up your possible points at the end of the game. Very easy game. I would say it's definitely a little bit more complicated than Herbaceous, which is in the same family of games as Herbaceous, Floriferous, and Sunset Over the Sea, or something like that. I would say this is probably the middle one out of those three. There is a new, a roll and write or a flip and write or something like that came out this most recently, called Delicious, same company. But Floriferous is my number 11. I love just the slight thinkiness of, it's kind of like you're building your hand, choosing goals that you will be able to count using the cards, the flowers that you pick. The color of the flower, the type of the flower, does it have a bug with it? What kind of bug does it have? I mean, there's all sorts of different ways of mixing and matching for certain specific goals. So that is my number 11, Floriferous. Love this little game. And it is beautiful. Very pretty. By Pencil First. My number 11. And there you have it. 20 to 11 in a little over 30 minutes. And I just got the hiccups now. So it's definitely time to stop. Until next time, happy gaming, and God bless you and your family. Bye.